Hockey's not something I really care about anymore. My love for the game kind of just died a long time ago thanks to sports journalists constantly cramming down your throat that Sidney Crosby is the greatest fucking hockey player ever and there's nothing you can say about it. Meanwhile, Alexander Ovechkin, which they've all had to fucking turn back the clocks and realize that he was actually the better player at the same time. But no, they were telling us that, yeah, he's the greatest thing since fucking Gretzky, and he might even be better than him. Yeah, okay, that fucking head case. Anyways, going back to this, it's only whenever there's something that kind of remotely piques my interest, I dive back into it. I've probably been out of the game, even like remotely paying attention to it for a good 5 years at this point, and then when something this fucking stupid pops up, this used to be the sport of just outright masculinity. And now it has just descended under Gary Bettman's lustful eye for cash. It's just fallen so far. Continuing to try to expand in a sport that if there's any case for retraction, hockey is spread so fucking thin when it comes to talent. Instead of, moving to 32 teams now, they should really look to probably go back to something like 24. Because those rosters, man, there's a lot of fucking scrubs that get a lot of fucking play time there, and the improved product would go a long ways instead of just trying to make really dumb fucking pace of play decisions and then just turn it into a fucking sideshow. Like, oh, it's a great way to settle ties. Not overtime, not continuous overtime. Let's turn it into a shootout. Fucking stupid. But then again, I'm just a crotchety old man when it comes to sports. Anyways, yeah. Logan Mailloux, he's been drafted by the Canadiens in the draft, okay, first round pick, okay, all intents and purposes, he plays for the London Knights in the OHL, great team, has produced many a top player to the NHL, he ended up getting loaned out to a Swedish team, he ended up fucking some Swedish broad, congratulations, and taking a picture of it, and then just showing it around the locker room, and then he ended up getting charged and fined. I don't know if he was actually convicted of this or it's still ongoing, so who knows if he's going to actually get convicted of this or if this was just another case of, oh, you took that picture? Oh, okay. I really didn't. It was fine at the time, but now that you showed it to people, I withdraw my consent on this one. So it's another one of these issues where, hey, guess what? She's not going to get wifed up, so she's going to get her fucking bread regardless. That's why you got to vet your hose. You gotta do it, guys. Ontario Hockey League has suspended Montreal Canadiens' first-round draft pick, Logan Mailloux, indefinitely. This happened a long time ago. This has been out there for a minute, and it's drawn the ire of somebody I can't fucking stand, and somebody that's awfully fucking rich. He'd be making ethics complaints when it comes to this. I think I tipped my hand a little bit, but we'll go through this article from the very unbiased and very honest CBC. Okay, yeah. Logan Mailloux indefinitely for violating the league's expectation for appropriate conduct by a player. Remember, this happened in November 2020, okay? They've known about it for a while, and then all of a sudden, like, this is just a couple of days old, okay? So it's just weird fucking timing. The league announced the move in a release Thursday, like this past Thursday, saying the punishment relates to an incident that took place while the Golden Knights defenseman was on loan to SK Legion in Sweden in November 2020. Fucking 10 months ago at this point. Mailloux has previously said he deeply regrets taking a photo of himself fucking the bitch, am I right? Without consent. Oh no. During an intimate moment, you can fucking connect the dots, like he did, on her back, gosh, and then sharing the photo with teammates to impress them. That's just such a fucking... He's 18 years old, okay? It's one of those idiotic mistakes. You don't do it, but do you get charged and fined for it? I get it, but I don't like it. Unless he was fucking some pig and he took a picture of that and he was showing it around to try to impress some people. Then, yeah, no, just fucking get rid of this kid. He's too stupid. The OHL says Mailloux can apply for reinstatement to the league in January 1st, 2022. And the decision about his reinstatement will be made based on the conduct and what treatment. So he has to go to re-education camps? Sweet. Counseling, mentoring, or education he has received. Yes. Men are always wrong, and especially because you're a straight white male. Oh my god. And you like girls? Oh, that is totally problematic. Fuck you, OHL. Days before the draft, Mailloux posted a statement on Twitter asking teams not to pick him this year, but the Canadiens defied the request and selected the 6'3", 213-pound defenseman. You can see why they fucking selected him. If he didn't have this hanging over his head, or spinning or swinging under him, or whatever they were doing, this dude would have been maybe top 10, top 15, something like that. Because 6'3", 220, fucking 18-year-old kids don't grow on trees, okay? I didn't learn how to skate, and I know, right, a Canadian that can't skate, and didn't really grow up playing hockey, so... But they're pretty rare, so... With General Manager Marc Bergevin defending the move to reporters shortly after the selection. Have you seen this kid play? He's really fucking good, and he's a defenseman from the London Knights. He has a pedigree. Okay, I'm sure he's a little bit more wordy and a little bit more quaint than that would have been put. Well, we work closely with him, give him the support he needs. We know he's been remorseful about the incident, which we truly don't agree with in all sense of the word, Bergevin said. But he's a young man who has made some serious mistakes of judgment, and we need to work with him, and we will talk to him, and welcome to Montreal, definitely not the city of hookers, so he will have nothing to worry about in the future. It's like, they actually have the right opinion on this. It's like, yeah, what he did was bad, but you know what? 6'3", 220, we need that motherfucker up here, okay? Shea Weber ain't coming back anytime soon. The pick was widely criticized, with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, can you fucking imagine, Prime Minister Blackface, saying Canadians showed a lack of judgment. He's talking about the team, not the entire fucking voting bloc showing complete a lack of judgment. Voting for a motherfucker with 4 ethics violations. Somebody whose blackface photos are only rivaled by Al Jolson. That's pretty fucking rich now, isn't it? Montreal later announced Mailloux would not participate in rookie camp on the team's main training camp this year. I get it, but I also appreciate Marc Bergevin, defending an 18-year-old kid. Yeah, okay, he took a picture of some broad, and it's like, okay, she had remorse after the fact, maybe. I don't know, like, what was she holding up her driver's license with her face? It was a bitch in Sweden, for fuck's sakes. Like, none of the boys are going to be hunting her down and asking her for fucking tit pics. Now, like, let's be completely honest here. Nobody really loses in this situation. She's a puck bunny for fucking SK Lejeune. We've seen this happen over and over again. And you know what? He got drafted in the first round, so he was liable to be getting a big signing bonus. So, hey, hope this dude doesn't get turfed, but it's also not the first time something stupid like this happened with a high draft pick. Something about Arizona Coyotes. Yeah, there's a hockey team in fucking Arizona in the fucking desert. And Gary Bettman for you. Something happened there, and I'd have to go back and take a look, but it was something bad he said or something bad that he did. Nothing criminal, nothing illegal or anything, but he got turfed for something really, really, really fucking stupid. And that's why I'm not going back to the NHL anytime fucking soon. They can burn in hell for all I care. Speaking of another sport that I used to be very, very passionate about, I played football, okay? I was very good at playing football. I had my knee blown out, and then I didn't play football anymore. I would have loved to continue doing that, but there's only so far somebody in northern Alberta can really go, and playing in the CFL is not exactly like a big lifetime goal, but watching the sport is fun as fuck. It's a different take on football. Bigger field, higher scoring. Some great players have come out of the CFL to go on and have remarkable NFL careers. Doug Flutie, Warren Moon, probably most famous among that. And likewise, some players came back and rehabilitated their careers in the CFL and then went back and had a tremendous second leg to their NFL careers. Mike Sellers, Ricky Williams played up here for a minute. Joe Theismann, the aforementioned Doug Flutie. Like, it's a good place. It's pretty much a soft developmental league for the NFL, if you want to look at it that way. But now they've just... ever since Trudeau got elected, I know, right? They just bit down on the social justice pill, and there's no coming back. Mostly because the ownership is, Bell Media, who TSN is the official carrier, and Bell Media owns the league. It's really fucked up. And so every coach on the sidelines literally has diversity is strength across their chest. I think I used it in a thumbnail like a long fucking time ago, but that's been the official logo of the league and the official slogan for the league. I don't know, the fucking official line for the cult. It's despicable. That's why I probably like the NHL. I haven't checked out. I used to love going to the games. I've been to that stadium that's in the background there. I've been to Commonwealth Stadium, whatever they fucking call it now. It's Commonwealth Stadium until the end of time. Huge place. Great games are played there. I'm was a big Calgary Stampeders fan. Mom is a huge Edmonton Eskimos fan, and they're always going to be the Eskimos. Fuck off with your Elks. Somebody should tell Joe Rogan that they're the Edmonton Elks now, and maybe they'll take care of this fucking problem team. It's a joke, but what they're doing here is fucking astronomically stupid, and just goes to show you that there's no length that an ideology won't go to eventually if given enough time, okay? Because they bit down on that pill, that social justice pill, that fucking wokeness pill, whatever the fuck you want to call it, okay? Neo-Marxism, postmodernism, I think that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's just an entire postmodern take on things where a league that has forced diversity in it, you need a certain amount of Canadians on your roster in order to field a team. Imagine that. Things went to shit more quicker than any other major-ish sports team. CFL is nowhere close to be a part of the Big Four, but it's close, right? As close as you can be. Eskimos released starting offensive lineman Jacob Ruby due to COVID protocol breach. Okay. So he's the first one that got COVID and got released. First pro athlete. And it gets even more questionable from there. On the final day of a 10-day club-wide quarantine following COVID-19 outbreak. So they made him quarantine for 10 days, okay, and then they fired him afterwards. Real fucking solid shit here. That led to postponing last week's game. The Edmonton Eskimos showed just how seriously they are taking things. Seriously is one way to put it. On Tuesday, the club released starting left guard Jacob Ruby. He was the starter. He was the fucking starting left guard, okay? Whatever. Due to a breach of COVID protocols. Why am I covering this? Well, it gets spicier from there. It's not clear whether the 28-year-old native of London, Ontario, so okay, he's your starting left guard, very important position in football, and he's also a Canadian, so he's very important to your roster. Why would he just get dropped? Was one of 13 players who tested positive last week. Oh my God, when a wave of COVID spread through the Eskimos locker room, postponing Thursday's game against the Toronto Argonauts. Ruby, a 6'7", 3.25-pound Richmond, BC product. So he was born in London and he was from Richmond? What? Drafted in the first round, 8th overall, highly touted by the Alouettes in 2015. Played 37 games in green and gold, including starting 3 games this season. This move is part of the club's ongoing commitment to strictly following the Canadian Football League's COVID protocols, which are in place to ensure the health and safety of all Tier 1 members and anyone who comes in contact with. Reads a press release. No further comment will be provided at this time. Of course not. Why would you want to have to answer and own up to any of these stupid fucking policies? On Monday, Eskimos president and CEO Chris Presson told 630 Ched Morley Scott, the team's play-by-play voice, that they were able to trace the origins of the outbreak. I don't really care about you tracing the origins, but this is also pretty important to the story. I think we had somebody break protocol unintentionally. Keep that in your back pocket. And was trying to take care of his body. Had a massage therapist, Yankee Cranky shop. There's some pretty seedy places just around Commonwealth Stadium. Apparently contracted it from her. Oh, miso sari. And before that, you're in Tier 1. Your wives aren't. Oh, okay. So you can go and seek a rub down, but you can't see your wife. But if it was all unintentional, it's okay. Oh, okay. I get it. Now we had a couple of wives pick it up from outside the house. Next thing, why are you letting your wives out? No, just kidding. Bring it in to their husbands, and that infected our team. And the first time we said, I don't care about the rest of that. All it was, yeah, just pay attention. It's like, okay, he didn't, the origins of this, which we know and we aren't going to share with you because you're on a need-to-know basis, of course. Like it says here, the Eskimos haven't identified the initial individual and the other 13 players who have tested positive, but said anyone who ends up missing practice time due to the virus, once the team returns to the field this week, will appear on the team's daily injury updates. That's how quickly it spreads. I don't care about the rest of it. Yeah, so it gets worse from there. So, okay, Ruby was fired after he was quarantined, and for whatever fucking reason. Now the CFL has barred anybody from signing Jacob Ruby on the persona non grata list. He's going to have his fucking picture posted at every fucking facility, in every front office, because he lied about his vaccination status. Oh my God. Because the CFL rules are fucking retarded, okay? Now again, to be logically consistent, okay, he knew the rules and he lied about them. Now, if there's protocol in place and you break that, okay, and then you end up infecting 13 members of the roster with the Coof, how is that any different than saying, yeah, no, I received the vaccination, wink, wink, nudge, nudge? That doesn't jive with me. But apparently it does with the CFL, which I just hope descends into bankruptcy at this point. Fuck off. I don't care about almost 100 years of history. If you guys are going to take it down this line, get woke, go broke. Everything woke eventually goes to shit. Canadian Football League rarely takes steps of officially banning its teams from signing a particular player. And we've seen it a few times over the past decade, includes Ray Rice, who was never even remotely close to signing with the CFL. Justin Cox, I think he used to be in the secondary for the BC Lions, if I remember correctly. Jerome Messam, I think he was a bank robber after he played for Calgary Stampeders. I think so. There used to be a running back, and he ended up getting charged with doing some robbery. I remember that story from a while back, but I think that's the case. Teague Sherman, I don't know that one, and Johnny Manziel. With most of those cases involving domestic violence or other criminal charges, Manziel's only involved him breaking some unspecified condition of the agreement that let him come out of the league. Yeah, that one was totally funky. He ended up playing for that super failed, not XFL, but XFL-like team, or league rather. It's a fucking funky situation. But he signed with the Montreal Alouettes and then ended up with the Hamilton Tiger Cats for a minute and never really did anything here because he was too busy getting drunk and gambling all the time. That was a fucking time, but whatever. And now the CFL has put Jacob Ruby, the Edmonton Eskimos lineman, released Tuesday for a breach of COVID protocols, reportedly over misrepresenting his vaccine status. Okay. So did he say that he didn't have the poke, but he actually had the poke? Or did he say that he was jabbed up and actually wasn't jabbed up? But he already now has natural... okay, see, it's not about keeping anybody safe. It's about compliance. It's fascinating to see this type of escalation here. Words are hard sometimes. I apologize. Especially as the list of players previously permanently banned is so small. It appears to show how seriously the CFL is indoctrinated. It is unfortunate for Ruby, a 28-year-old Canadian lineman who's recently been a starter in more normal times where vaccination status wasn't an issue. He would likely have continued his career in Edmonton. Yeah, but the entire league is so properly fucked. But why would somebody lie about their vaccination status? So we got CFL, their official fucking guidelines on this one. And it doesn't look too dissimilar from the NFL's policy as well. So if something like this happens again, there's already ground rules for it. So we'll see how this plays out. But here's officially from the fucking worthless CFL commissioner. Once again, these fucking new commissioners, man, they stink. They stink, they stink, they stink. Our goal is to ensure we have zero game cancellations due to issues caused by the outbreak of COVID-19 within our football operation, said Randy Ambrose, commissioner of the CFL. As policy spells out what will happen if cancellations do occur, its main purpose is to encourage all of our players to get fully vaccinated. That's to hold them hostage from making their own decisions. According to the policy, if a game cannot be played as scheduled because of COVID-19 issues and it cannot be rescheduled, and one club is suffering from COVID-19 issues, the club will forfeit the game and be assigned a loss, and its opponent will be credited with a win by a score of 1-0. Okay, that's not dissimilar to the NFL's. It still sucks and it's still fucking stupid because that whole talk of asymptomatic is like totally fucking out there, but okay, whatever. And both clubs are suffering from Coof issues and both clubs will forfeit the game and then everybody dies. In both of these circumstances, if a team can prove that 85% of its players under contract have been vaccinated, here's where Ruby comes in. At least once and preferably fully, so either 1 or 2 jabs, its players will receive their salary for the canceled game. If the team falls below that 85% threshold, the entire team will not get paid for the canceled game that they didn't have anything to do with. Again, just trying to use peer pressure in order to get people to get the fucking jab. And these guys in the CFL aren't fucking millionaires. Like, top of the league, I think maybe one of the top quarterbacks right now. Like, the big news was like when Ricky Ray and the fuck's his name, Dave Dickinson, when they signed long-term contracts, it was like $100,000, $120,000 a year. Like, that's just about median average up here in Grand Prairie. So these guys aren't making a whole hell of a lot of money. And if you're forcing them to get shit that might compromise their work outside the game, like, okay, to bring it back to the Canadian football, or to the Calgary Stampeders again, there was a running back, okay, not the one who robbed the bank. I got to get his name right. Yeah, John Cornish, okay? He was one of the best players in the league, okay? And when he was still in his prime, he retired to take a job at a bank because he wanted his financial future to be secure. Because there's no money in the CFL, okay? So if you're forcing people to do shit that might be detrimental to the rest of their life, the vaccines are safe and secure, oh my God, please, fuck off.
Not a medical advisor, duh, duh, duh.
No, it's a bigger issue when these aren't fucking full-time salaries, okay? It's a nice summer job to play for the CFL. Outside of that, it's like these guys have the rest of the year to look after themselves, especially if you're an offensive lineman, and especially if you're just recently a fucking starter. Like, dude, this league is so fucked. So is the NHL. So hey, if this shit starts popping off because a whole bunch of other leagues have something similar to this on the books, okay, it's like, get vaccinated, otherwise you're going to have to go through daily, monthly, weekly, twice daily fucking tests to prove that you're not going to get fucking anybody else sick. You're going to have to ride in fucking separate buses. You're basically going to have to fucking live in the bubble if you want to be, I don't know, free to make your own decisions. So if there wasn't reason enough now to boycott just the Edmonton Eskimos for changing their fucking name for no goddamn reason, here's another one right now. And fuck the CFL. Get your shit together. It's a lot of fun to watch, but not anymore. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.